What's up Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to do a little update on the rear wheel drive build, and this build is such a roller coaster. Yesterday I was about to give up. I was about to wave the white flag, just throw in the towel and not continue with the build right now. I thought that the Saab Festival 2024 might not happen after all, and everything flashed by, you know, all the hours, all the days, all the work that I had put into the car. But I decided to keep going, and with good friends that support and family and wife and everything, this will turn out quite good in the end. So in Sweden we have had a little bit of a longer holiday right now, so I have put in some work on the car, like a few days. Right now when I'm recording it's Sunday. So we started off at like Wednesday or something like that, driving the car. And I said to my wife that I was going out for a drive, and she said, I will come with you. I will take the other car and I will go behind you. And the speedometer doesn't work, or didn't work, so she kept track of the speed and I drove. So we took it for like 10 kilometers or something like that. Everything seemed to work out fine. I stopped for a little bit, and when I stopped and popped the hood, there was like bubbles in the coolant, and then just smoke came out, and a lot of the coolant ran out on the ground. So then I went home with wifey's car, got some new clamps and fixed this little leak. So now it's clamped down with real clamps. I used the OEM type clamps before, which suck when you use them for this type of stuff. So the next day took it for a new drive. The clutch was squeaking, but we took it for a drive 28 kilometers and everything went well. So as far as that, very good. A little bummed that the speedometer doesn't work, because that needs to work. Today Gerard was here, and he is such a master of this. Joel and his expertise friend helped me sort out the couplings of the ABS. So I made the ABS light go off, but the speedometer didn't work. So when Gerard was here, we had a look of the connections that I had made, and he tried one thing out, and he had the Tech 2, so we could like log and see everything. And he did some magic. We did a different connection and spin one of the front wheels, and then we could see that we had connection with the speedometer again. So we did that for all of them, and now I have speed in the car. So the only big issue that I'm having right now is the clutch. The clutch, like slave cylinder or release bearing, will not go back after you have pushed it. I will see if I could show you with some parts so you will see what I mean. So this will symbolize the clutch plate. You can see that it has spring all around it, and this is the slave cylinder and the bearing. And what happened was that it was making contact with the pressure plate at all times. These springs, or fingers that you call them, was laying against the bearing just a little bit, so much that the bearing wouldn't spin, but it made metal to metal contact, so it was squeaking quite a lot, like especially when you idle and when you drove as well. And the clutch pedal doesn't feel like it should really. So what I did was I cut open 2 holes in the transmission casing, which is easy to just put some plates over it. I have them right here. But anyway, so I could see what would happen, because on this car everything sits so tight so you can't really remove the transmission without taking out the engine, which is a bit of a hassle and nothing that I want to do right now. But anyways, I cut open some holes, and my bearing and slave cylinder is fully adjustable, so I can move it and have it over here, or I can have it sitting close by. And from the company that I bought it from, they say that there should be an air gap of 2-3 millimeters between the bearing and the clutch plate. And I did the work and I adjusted it out approximately 2 millimeters, which I had done previously one time earlier. So I pushed the clutch plate and it felt kind of good, and then I went under the car and would see how it looked, and it wouldn't retract at all. So every time I push it, it stays against the clutch plate, which is an issue. I have changed the master cylinder, it didn't change anything, I got the same problem. I have moved the bearing and the slave inside the gearbox, it moves freely, but it is like the hydraulic isn't going back, and I don't know if enough pressure is going in either. The car works, but we have this issue. So what I have done right now, and it works, but it's not the best solution, is that I have put just a tiny bit of preload on the springs on the clutch plate, so the bearing and the slave is, or the bearing is spinning at the same pace as the clutch plate, which it shouldn't do. Of course it's designed to do it when you clutch, then it will catch the same speed as the transmission or the clutch plate or the clutch package, but when driving it should be free, like not spinning with it. So I guess it works, so it's not a showstopper, but it's not ideal because you will shorten the life. And I have had problems previously with hydraulics, and then it has been with brake lines. So if a brake line collapses inside of the brake line, it will be easy, it will be like a non-return valve, so you will be able to push fluid through it, so you put pressure on the clutch, but when it should return, there is nothing like making it return. So the fluid is going slowly back, but the clutch isn't going with it. So that's the issue that we have right now, but otherwise there is only one issue with the car. So I will change the clutch line because I think it's broken inside. When I removed the engine like 2 years ago, I think I put a clamp on the hose to make it not leak like fluid all over the floor when I remove the engine. So I will try that right now and change the line, but today I will take you with me on a drive and we will see how the car drives. And the only problems that I have is two things. One, airbag light, which is located to the airbag sensor that's in the steering wheel. That must have been broken when I have done a lot of testing and tuning with the steering wheel. And I also have error codes on the heater package, so the heater is blowing hot air all the time, and we have read out the codes, so it's the swirl flaps, which is a very common problem. So that we will not deal with right now because it's just to put off the AC panel, but in the future for sure I will fix it. So let's take the car for a drive. So the car is on full E85 right now, and it's tuned by Joel, and you should see how quick this starts. And I also have the lambda, wideband lambda, and also a boost gauge, and this should not be taped in like this. I'm doing a carbon fiber holder right here, and also a carbon fiber holder, not a holder, but the A-pillar is made out of carbon fiber in the future. So let's start and see how it goes. is so raw to drive. But it's very nice to have a speedometer again. Can you imagine that I built this car like from the ground and up? So it's not just like an engine that I have put in a rear-wheel driven car. I have built the chassis and everything myself as well, which is quite unreal, and the car really works. You can see I made this alignment myself in the garage, and it's not perfect, but the car drives, the vibrations is not too bad really. And the turbo spool is so good. So my plan this weekend was to have a little bit of these drives to really like break in the engine and make sure that everything works before I dyno the car, but time is running up and this is just the last last few hours of the weekend left, so I have not too much time to do as much test driving as I would have liked to. But it's better than nothing. The ratio of this diesel 6-speed gearbox together with the rear differential from the Opel Omega is not the best really, especially not for long drives. Right now I'm doing 80, which is the speed limit right here, and at 6th gear I'm at like 2000 RPM. So driving this to Trollhättan and keeping a speed of 100 will be a challenge. I don't really know why it's this much traffic on this road, because these kind of back roads are usually like empty out of people. And for those that are wondering, the car is fully insured, and it is also I have paid the government for the taxes to have the car in traffic. So if something would have happened, there will be like no issues, other than me not possibly getting any refunds from the insurance company because the car is not inspected in this condition that it's right now. But yeah, I don't know what you think. This is like kind of a lovely Sunday drive, and yet there is so much power on the car, and I'm a little bit chickened out, so I'm not there yet to push full throttle, but we are slowly getting there. We are working our way there. We can try to do a little bit of a pull and see what type of air we can come up to. Shit, it's boosting a lot. Right there I was above 1.5 bar, and it really took off. So right now it should be on base boost, but that was definitely not base boost. It's so quick. Need to take it a little bit easy. But I really think that when the speedometer doesn't work, I think you will not get the full boost. So I will try to keep track on everything right now. The engine temperature seems to be good. So funny feeling, because normally in a 9.5 you will get a ton of torque steer in the steering wheel, and now you have like nothing at all. It just keeps pulling straight. Turn around right here. So this will be perfect spot for a little thumbnail. This will be behind the scenes. Last time I did a stop here, it was running coolant all over the ground. And now I don't have any leaks at all, which is so nice for the soul to know that things are really working. The issue right now is the clutch, which is, of course, it works like it is because the clutch isn't slipping. So as Gerald said, either it works or it doesn't, but running the car like this will definitely shorten the life of the car. But so far this is so good news. Get the car into boost, get it up to like 1200 in air mass. Really good. So the sound when you let off the throttle, it's not very premium, but I guess it's a mix between like a nice car and a race car. So you can't have everything. I wanted the car to look OEM, to look like it came out of the factory with rear-wheel drive, and I think I made it. I mean, we got all of the interior back into place. We got the AC, or the ACC, I would say, not the AC. Car sounds amazing. It pushes power so good. And I really can't wait to see what it does on the dyno. So we will have the airbag light sorted out, and then I think the inspection would not really have anything to complain about. Brakes work. Ambient temperature is under control, and we don't have any leaks right now. That's very good. Mule value at 57, that's really nice. That means that, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it compensates with like 5.7% or something like that. I don't know if it's ignition or fueling, but 57 is really, really good. I think that was quite a successful first drive. From my previous videos you could see that it's steaming a lot from the exhaust trap. It does that still, but it's much less right now, so I'm on the right path. I don't think we have any leaks. Not that I can see of. No oil, no steering servo, no coolant, and now we have made a couple of pulls at least. And in the bigger picture the car looks so cool. I have a bit of rubbing issues. I heard it when it bounced, so I think it's the wide tires that's touching this little tab. So we will grind this off, because race car, just remove it so we don't have any scrapes. But it doesn't scrape too bad, but it's sad to destroy a tire because of it. So right now, tomorrow I will try to get a new clutch line, and we really hope that the feeling of the clutch gets much better after that. And I also think race up the car and try to go over like every nut and bolt and tighten it down again to see that nothing has come loose. I think that's a really good thing to do. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up. Comment if you have any questions or if you have any ideas for the clutch that I described. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.